Hi, welcome to StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 270.
Cool.
At the rate that we're going, it's going to be several years before we get to 300, but, you know, nobody's really counting other than me at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
going to be several years.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Because it's been a long time.
Yes, I think it was towards the end of September. September 19th, our last one got published. Which there was some delay there too, but anyway.
Since I'm kind of self-conscious about it, I'm going to call it out. I'm wearing a hat.
Yep.
It's going to stay on my head because I put it on way too early this morning and now I have hat hair.
Yep.
It's the Cool Hoss hat, as Megan reminded me.
I knit
Jared
like a
Flood
billion of them my first knitting holiday season.
Yeah, and it was in an Interweave Knits Holiday Edition magazine, I
Mhm.
think. A while back. I'm sure you can buy it by itself now.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that I'd find it fun now.
Yep.
I think it took forever the first time.
Yes, it was definitely a challenging
Yeah.
project, which was intriguing to me when I was knitting it, and I also thought that it was just visually striking.
Yes, it is visually striking.
It's
Highly
inspired
recommend.
by an architect. I believe Koolhaas was an architect that has like
okay.
a specific building. I looked at it or Googled it when I was knitting a bajillion of them. So, how are things going?
Good.
I think we're going to try to split some of my whirlwind trip into a separate episode, so we may have a follow-on episode, so I won't go too in-depth, but I do want to just say thank you to everybody that cheered me on during the marathon, to everybody that had a kind word, smile, whatever for me at Rhinebeck, and all of the folks whose paths I crossed that either knew me or now knows me. So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I caught up with Karen this week at work about her Rhinebeck trip.
Yep.
And so all of these stories will be fresh for me
Yes.
when I get to hear them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Well, and again, I feel like I shared a great deal of them with people along the way, so they're probably like, yeah, Megan, you're telling the same story over and over. But
Or there's people who just want to catch up.
yep.
So
100%. Things going well with you. Yesterday we had the mountain biking state championship in Mount Cato. So I was telling Susan that, and she says, that sounds really hilly. And I said, I think that's the point. Closest thing we've got to mountain biking in Minnesota.
Yes.
So,
ski resorts.
yep, it was, yeah. There you can see the snow making machines and the lifts and stuff. But they're going up them with their bikes and coming back down. So.
Wow.
Yep, Ellie was 15th in the whole state of Minnesota, so I'm super proud of her.
Very cool.
Yeah, and all the hard work that went into it, she's really been working. She's always kind of had the aerobic skill,
Mhm.
like she's fit and she's small and she's got a light bike, and so she can really climb those hills really fast. But some of it is technical as well, like making the turns and getting around things. And so she's really been working really hard this year on it. So I'm super proud of her.
Very cool.
Yeah. How about your fam?
Soccer's over with,
Yes.
so that's nice. My son says that he's going to do the turkey outing or Thanksgiving outing with Boy Scouts. So we have been taking a little bit of a break from Boy Scouts,
Mhm.
but we do have a 90-day chore chart going on for some sort of Boy Scout thing, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
We laid it out, and sometimes the written chore doesn't get done because maybe the cleaning lady came and it's already pristine, so there's no reason for him to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And so we come up with other little chores. One day it was to exercise for 15 minutes because he hadn't done much that day
Yeah.
except lay around. So I was like, all right. And he came up with that one on his own. I asked him what chore he wanted to do instead. So I was like, I accept. Cool. Get to it.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, trying to think what else. We went up to the Mall of America for a day just to kind of walk around. And there's just been so much. We
Yeah.
have people talking to me about the retreat here and there. So
Mhm.
that was kind of interesting. Yeah. So there's a new this year dyer in Hastings, Minnesota. So learned about them. Muse 2320 or 2330. It's in Hastings and it starts with Muse. So.
And did you went when the yarn mobile was here in Rochester?
Funny story, I went downtown and did everything but the Yarnmobile because it had a huge line and it was freezing outside.
Ah, well that's
so
good.
Good for them.
Yes.
But yeah, it was 10 deep, and I was like 10 deep, and there was even more people inside than Jenna would allow on her truck, so I don't know if there's a different rating on that truck, but you know, there were like 6, it looked crowded inside, and there were 10 people outside waiting, you know, kind of shivering, and all wearing knits, so it was lovely, but I had determined that I was only kind of interested in the t-shirt, and
I had several people in our Rhinebeck house that was like, if you get the Yarnmobile and they have this in this size, you buy it for me. And I was like, okay.
They sell online.
That's like that. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
No, but I definitely was
great
interested, and I walked through. But yeah, it was a bitterly cold morning when we were out there.
Yep. Yeah.
I think if it was more like today, I would have stood and waited. But
well, that's awesome. I knew that they had really drummed up support because, you know, I had the little vignette in the Mayo thing, and then I also presented to my division about knitting.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was fun. About our event, and I got to use some of our stats and whatever in it.
I think you told me that, but just hearing it again, it's like, oh yeah.
So I had like, you know, because now I'm been earmarked as a knitter, right?
Oh,
so
okay,
people were like, did you hear the Yarnmobile is going to be outside? And I was like, yes, I'm aware. I won't be in town. I'm doing my other hobby, running the marathon.
No, honestly, it was so cold that day, and had Matt with me, so
my family was up in Duluth for a bike thing, and again I was in Chicago, so and it was snowing while they were doing the bike thing, so and they canceled soccer that weekend, right?
Yes, they did. It was so cold they canceled soccer
because of wind chills, which was like, oh wow, fall soccer wind chills. But I hope maybe it's just gonna be cold sooner and then be less cold winter.
I don't know.
Yeah, or is this just a harbinger of more things to come?
Could be.
All right, we have some September goal along prize winners. I pulled out this beautiful skein of undead yarn. It's Mike and Sully, and it's a 75% merino, 25% nylon, and their fingering base. If this one doesn't go to somebody, it might just go to me because I love it. And then I pulled out a Silver Shed USA little sock. I can't remember what all of her sizes are called.
Yeah, it's a small one. Small wedge.
Yep, a small wedge, and it's Barnyard Folks, which I have seen a lot of recently in upstate New York. Lots of farm animals. So 2 through 361. 349 is Knitting Angela, and she made a check-in after not having posted since February.
Oh, there you go.
So, last minute. I mean, there was 12 after her, but check in on that. Yes, good job, Angela. 91 is Valerie, MVA 5493, if that's you, Valerie. And 38 is Noni Baloney, who I just got to give a hug to. I just saw her. Anyway, contact me in your order of preference, bag, yarn, or one of my patterns that's available online.
Okay.
Yes.
I actually made progress on my yarn blanket, and I had this ridiculous goal of adding 300 grams onto it. I weighed the entire blanket, and it's 346 grams. So
you were like, I was going to double it. Yeah.
It was like, no, I am not doubling this thing. But
what was the time frame?
Was the year. Right?
Oh,
it was
okay.
the goal along, you know, just like, I should be able to.
I thought you meant like in a weekend or something, and I was like, holy crikey.
No, it was like,
for the year, got it.
As a goal, 3 skeins of yarn, 300 grams. It didn't sound like a lot, but when you put it as doubling what I've already got in the blanket, I'm like, ooh, no, I'm not doing that.
Comparison is the thief of joy, man.
Oh,
you shouldn't
it
have
really
compared.
No, it just put the pressure off. So I did work on it this weekend, and I caught up on weaving in the ends too. So now that's important. Every time I add a square, I'm only weaving in ends for where that square started. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Don't have to like weave in monstrous amounts of ends.
Yeah, that can be a bit of a killjoy.
And then what else in my goal along? I did do some weaving since the last time we talked. I probably only added like 10 inches, which is a lot, but I still have lots to go. So I probably just need to spend another weekend working on it, and I could probably call it good.
And that isn't like your Zoom loom, that's an actual...
Yeah, it's an actual loom.
Okay.
So I will be, what do I want to say there? I'm creating a fabric that I ultimately might just give to my mom to sew into bags for me, because it's beautiful, it's all hand spun, but I don't know what the heck it's going to look like when it comes off, because I've had to add and change the direction of it as I go. So it might be kind of like a fade, but an unplanned fade. So, because it's all rolled up inside, and I didn't bother to unroll it to see what colors were there to add the next ones. It could be interesting to say the least. So anytime I made one of those changes, could be a new bag or something. But yeah, I was making progress on goal along, so I just thought I'd share. Like, I thought that was pretty good.
Go you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Finished objects, man.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm not telling any stories. I'm
Oh,
saving
that's
all
right,
the
that's right.
stories.
Okay. So, I was trying to think of how many things I finished since the last time we recorded, and there's probably additional pairs of socks that got lovingly sent along to their owners. But one of the pairs was for my husband, so I got to actually hold that behind. So this is from a sock blank from Leading Men Fiber Arts. They don't name their sock blank colorways. At least I didn't see one on the
Yeah, I don't think
on the thing, which
Did it
makes
have like
sense.
a date or something, maybe?
Honestly, that tag is long gone.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to remember. I think that there is like a distinguishing something, but I can't, yeah. Maybe
Something cute that I saw was that somebody was knitting off of a sock blank on a car trip, and they had tied the sock blank to the oh shit handle. I don't know what else to call it, but you grab on when things are going bad. And
The brace yourself handle?
yeah. So, or maybe it was a truck and it's the get up and get down handle, but
yeah.
they had tied it to one of those handles that's in the car, and then were knitting off of the thing as it was hanging in front of them, and I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah. Kind of like a yarn ivy.
Yeah. More yarn, stat.
Yep.
And then I also finished my weekender for the unofficial ZK, or maybe it's semi-official ZK knit along. And this is Prairie Spun from Brown Sheep Company out of Nebraska.
Yours looks more tightly knit than mine. Like the gauge is tighter, I guess.
I might have changed needles. I am not sure.
Okay.
But this has been washed and blocked, so maybe it kind
Yeah.
of poofed up and looks denser now.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that yarn doing that, I guess.
But it's already been worn a couple times, and to work once. So
Worn a million times.
well,
A million times.
it hasn't been cold enough lately for wool, like indoors.
Yeah,
you
mine
know?
was primarily an outer layer, right?
Yeah.
Like I just kind of, instead of grabbing a coat to take on and off, I was just wearing it in and
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the weekender.
Woohoo.
And then,
Beautiful.
apparently on a Andrea Mowry kick, I have the Woolen Honey finished. I really enjoyed this knit, and it looks really good on. I had to kind of reshape these ribbings here, because they kind of go on the, like, I don't know, they get zhuzhed all day long, and then they don't keep their shape. But as expected.
The like the floats, there isn't a better word, but the honeycomb looks like it's laying down a lot nicer.
Yeah, and this yarn, once I had blocked it it kind of hugged its other yarns in there, so there's less likelihood of grabbing in between, at least the smaller floats anyway. I did snag a couple times while wearing this, but
Love that color.
yeah, it really was a good yarn and pattern marriage there. It was pleasure to knit with because it just really worked up. I mean, the hand on this yarn was not great. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little rough, but just the depth of color, how it's kind of like green and yellow, and just how it was just a pleasure to look at.
With that
the whole time.
garter, I bet it hangs pretty nicely as well.
Yeah.
It's got some drape.
Yeah, and well, much like the Weekender, it does feel kind of like a bell, like, because there's a lot of positive ease, at least 10 inches.
If knit to pattern.
Yeah, if knit to pattern, right.
Sorry.
Some people didn't.
I'll caveat that. Yeah.
And then I actually finished the shift, but it's on blockers
Okay.
at home. And
The shift is the cowl.
yeah,
Yep.
or maybe it's the night shift.
Is that the shawl?
Okay, so shift. I really like it, and I am excited to sew it up and get it done.
And that's with handspun?
Yep. Yep, it's really beautiful. I will, when I get it done, I'll bring it. But
Yes, yes,
it's
you
not
should.
done. But those are the 3 that I remember doing.
Okay.
I'm sure, and then the 4th thing.
You're
make
so
it all
good
go
about
back.
putting them, getting them to their actual recipients right away. Mine kind of sit in a pile and like, no, you cannot touch this until I've gotten to podcast about it. So I have a whole slew of socks that I've recently done. I think I was talking about these 2 colors the last time we podcasted. This is Best Friend from, why can't I think? Knit Style Yarn. And then the Three Irish Girls is the blue tonal. So I knit some skews out of that. And again, they just live in my purse and I continue to work on them. I had a little bit left over and I did a slip slide splash for Miss Ellie. And I think she would have been wearing these had I not been hermetically keeping them in a pile. And then I think these were the last pair that I knit before I left. This is some retro yarn. So this is Walking Wisty.
Really faded.
Yeah, Walking Wisty. I think you almost did it immediately. It's
I
the
did.
Zombies colorway. But now I'm kind of on the hunt. If anybody knows anybody that's got British Falkland Merino,
Ooh.
it's really like you have it, but
Yeah.
it's like really dense and smushy and almost feels like it's hard to explain, but it's a different texture than just normal merino. Like it's almost like a in my mind it's almost like the what's the one that I've been knitting with a lot recently? Targi / merino feel to it. Dense, kind of absorbent, like almost like, and this is gonna throw people off, but like texture wise, it's almost like it's like a clay, like it's taking something from my hands, right? Like it was absorbing. I don't know. It's porous. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. But again, knit some more skews. I can't remember what SKU number those are, but when I Instagram them, I'm sure I will. And then again, I did some partying it ups for Ellie with the leftovers, and I think that took me right down to the very end. In fact, I think I made it a little higher because I had to do the unbiased, past the unbiased, and I had to rip out to finish the other one. So then I was kind of sock blanking off of the other sock to get them together. But absolutely,
Really
like,
working with fumes.
the black, gray, black stripe there, that slays me. It slays me so hard.
Yeah, yours are looking thicker because my feet are wider, so
Yep.
it does look a lot different.
Yep. These are a sock design that I will be asking for test knitters, but it's an arrow motif. Again, working with Targi, and I really like the combo. This is a single. a single color, obviously, but the stitch definition on this Targhee is really nice. And then I did it, and so what the leftovers of that, I did it with another, with the 2 colors. So again, I'm just really a big fan of arrows, apparently. Chevrons and arrows, they just make me happy. So I think the inspiration for this is going to be like the rising of hopes, of staying hopeful even though things are maybe not going the way that you want them to, you know, whether it's in the world, whether it's in your life, whether it's in politics, whether it's anything, right?
I was thinking weather.
Weather, things aren't going.
Stay hopeful.
It's like, I feel like as long as I can stay hopeful, I buoy those around me, right? So kind of like the idea of a rising tide raises all ships. I try to be a beacon of hope, I guess, at least in my little circle of people, right? Like if things are going bad at work, like they are right now.
It's management's job. Man.
Yes, keep up the spirits, keep them up.
Go them around.
Yes.
We have a deadline, guys. Come on.
Yep. So, and then I've got another sock pattern that's coming out that I haven't been able to show you here in November. So stay tuned on Instagram for that, and there'll be, yeah, it's fun.
Speaking of managers, my manager announced that he's going to a different department, and I did have several people tell me, "You'd make a good manager." So it's like, that might be true, but I don't know if I'm ready.
Yeah.
But I would step up if they made me, because I don't want our current what do you want to call it, climate to change. Morale is good, it's high, it's turned around, it's feeling good in the group, and I don't want it to change.
I posted this on Instagram, and now I can't.
Monkeys?
Yeah, they're monkeys, but I can't remember the yarn. Do you remember the yarn? Of course you wouldn't. Why would you?
No, it's a purple and green. I'd hate to guess.
It is, BFL 70. Oh, Elbeth. Lauren gave this to me. That's right. And it's Shirsty Cat. She died, died here. She died here. So I've been knitting all these socks, and I mean,
one skein of Shirsty Cat.
Yep.
Just one. Precious little skein.
So this one these 2 I can enter into Earth Tone Girls is Falling Leaves sock cowl, because it's got a fall theme or Halloween theme.
Halloween theme, yeah.
Yep.
Zombies.
Yep, and this one the same. I feel like this is very, very Halloween-y. But yeah, I've been wearing, so I have another Crafty Girl pair of rainbow monkeys, and I've been wearing them and being like, oh my gosh, I really love
the
this
monkey
stitch.
pattern is great.
It is. It's like anything you throw at it. Like if you had looked at this in the skein, you would have been like, there's no way you're ever going to see any stitching, and it totally does through here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it.
It allows any color to show texture.
Yes, yep. So I knit mine toe up. I modified it to be, because I think it's written for 36 wide, and that's the only, unless you buy it in her Knit Sock Love.
Got it. I have not knit Sock Love.
So I just modified it so that these were 216 motifs, or 216 motifs rather than 218 motifs.
I've been in 3 Cookie A clubs, and I've bought 2 of her books, so I've paid for plenty. I got you covered.
Well, not only that, I mean, it's free on Knitty,
right,
the one size. So I just had to modify to take 2 of the stitches off per repeat. But finish these up before I left. And then
I appreciate her as a sock designer.
Yes, I wonder where she is these days.
Yeah.
She got like a job out in the industry. Oh, you're knitting on some Targhee.
I believe.
Yes. No, that's 100% Targhee.
Okay.
But
yes, it used to be in her stash. So,
so this is my weekender. It is, I think, so the difference is I must have gotten a little carried away on the ribbing. So my ribbing is a good 2.5 inches versus yours, I think. But I, even this morning, I just threw this on. So this has been everywhere. This has been, I wore it in Chicago. I wore it on the second day of Rhinebeck. Primarily, I really like it with this shirt, which Amy and I were just talking about. It's a Wool-X shirt that I got on Amazon, which is 100% merino. And it was just a, for non-knitters, it's like a travel shirt is how they're advertising it, because you can wear it for multiple days and it doesn't get stinky even if like you're out hiking. So I mean, I came back and washed this obviously, but I think I've worn it a couple days and it doesn't doesn't stink. Anyway, it looks really nice underneath this. I think it makes some of the colors pop. I really like the speckles. This is Sun Valley yarn in one of her speckly colorways. In addition to, I knit this at the smallest size, and I think my gauge was smaller as well, although I do think my gauge looks bigger than yours. I had a lot of people come up and be like, I really like the Weekender. What did you do different about yours? Because mine doesn't fit me like a bell. It kind of fitted through the top because I have wide shoulders, and then it's a little looser down at the bottom because there's no waist shaping or anything in it. And so I didn't do the 10 inches of positive ease, right? And then I put side seams in because I was alternating.
Changes it too. Side seams.
You think so?
Yeah.
It pulls it in a little bit, or you think just the visual?
The visual.
Yeah. So it's not tight, but it's not as loose as some of them are. I guess.
I notice my looseness in the back more than I do in the front. Like if I'm wearing it around, I'm like, oh, this is fun, and then I see myself in a mirror, like in side view or somewhere where I catch the back, and the back looks like it's coming directly off my shoulders and like a cape. It's very bell
cape.
It's very bell-like.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got positive ease. It's just not 10 inches of positive ease.
Yeah.
I think I adjusted here because I saw that it was going to be wider than my bra strap, so I think I bound off more on the 3-needle bind off here. Well, actually, you had to. Sorry, not to give away too much of the pattern.
You had to plan ahead.
You had to plan ahead because you're binding these off before you're 3-needle binding this off because you have to wait for the other side. But yeah, I wore this as an outer layer everywhere. It's like my favorite sweatshirt. Like, like if you had a college, if I had an Iowa State or you had a UNI college sweatshirt, you just throw it on. That's what this has been.
My CrossFit hoodies. I have tons of those now.
Yeah. And then as a last minute thing, I knit the Bravara. Yes, by Thread and Ladle. It was definitely not the sweater of Rhinebeck, which I wasn't expecting because there weren't knit-alongs or whatever. I would say the Stone Crop was the sweater of Rhinebeck. Andrea Mowry.
Okay.
Color work with like the spin cycle yarn, marl, and then there's nups throughout, and you could do a pullover or you could do a cardi.
Okay.
I don't know. I just saw a lot of them. Like last year, you could very easily see that it was.
That highway one?
No.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. Why can't I think of the one that I thought it was last year? It was another Andrea Mowry one, I think. There was a ton of them last year. But I guess maybe I was standing on the hill and saw all the people that were meeting up for her meetup, right? And so then it seems like there's a lot of them.
Of course.
But yeah, I found one other gal that had knit this, and so I grabbed a picture of that and put it in my stories. But ultimately, hers was a stash buster. So this was written such that you could do, you didn't have to do each of these in the same 4 colors. You could just kind of change throughout. And so hers was very scrappy and very fun. I swapped in this peachy, orangey, pinky color from my Soldotna crop from Colorful Eclectic. I know that it kind of reads watermelon. I don't know if I just now planted that into your head or if Amy knows I have a love for the pink and the greens, and that sometimes that reads a little Christmassy / watermelon-y. I had never thought in a million years that this was going to fit the top of me because it looked so funneled. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post, but I was like, and I kept trying it on and trying it on peg, my dress form, but it did. Blocking fixes a lot of issues. What else was I going to say about this? I basically mathed this out. So it goes from like being the main color to being the dots to being the ridge to not being used to being the main color to being the dots, and it follows that sequence for all the colors. So ridge, main color, dots, ridge, main color. Like I created myself a little logic chart because I wanted to make sure that I could use all of the yarn, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be, and you know, the black kind of got thrown off because it started out smaller than the rest, so I think I had the most left of this. But I got to the very end with the sleeves and I was like, I'm just gonna go. I had the most left of this because I think it was the one that was used the least until you got to the main body, and just went until I ran out. And it was nice. It was a nice weather to wear it. I would have had to put a coat on it on Saturday at Rhinebeck if I hadn't, you know, with the 3/4 length sleeves. So couldn't, it was a great meditative knit, right? Like I couldn't put it down because it was super fun to try to get to that next color, and I can't recommend it enough. She wrote a well formatted and understandable pattern. So
I could see doing a scrappy one.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of, because right now I'm in the process of potentially starting a northeastern blanket.
yep, I think it's
Or
northeastern.
Northeastern?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's how they say northeastern. But
Okay.
northeastern. Yeah,
Northeastern.
yeah.
Where
Northeasterly? Northeasterly?
Oh yeah, maybe an ly on the end.
Yeah.
It's the chevron blanket that's a scrappy blanket, and you can do it in sock or DK. And I saw somebody's DK version of it, and I was like, ooh, I have some scrap DK, but scrap DK could also make a sweater.
Yes, yeah. I have a lot of them. Like, my stash management has gotten out of control because I've done things like you will see when when we talk about purchases in Rhinebeck. I've got like a bunch of like, oh, this would be fun as color work, like put into like project bags together, right? I guess in my mind someday I'll just grab it and start knitting color work. But like I'm thinking like hats but like that would be perfect for this, right? I mean, you wouldn't need a full size sweater's worth of each color. You could just use the scraps that you had identified for, mittens, hats, whatever. So there's that, and then along my trip I kind of got the design bug because of this beautiful skein of yarn from Breaking Yarn. It is called Breaking Violet, so it's kind of inspired by Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And kind of the meth blue overtones
okay.
of that. And so I haven't blocked this, and you can see it's asymmetrical. It's a triangle. It's got some lace and some meditative garter. I did have people asking me throughout me knitting this whether or not this was self-striping, and it is not. It's just a highly variegated skein. So then I came back and I grabbed my, which was going to possibly be socks for the falling leaves, KAL, Sleeping Pumpkin Patch from Vesper Knitterly Things. These are the colors of my soul, the bright green. Ooh. And I like it just as much in that self-striping. So it's really fun when you get to the short rows that make the one side grow more than the other. And this will look quite different blocked. The lace will actually show, and then it'll be kind of V'd this way.
Yeah, it looks broken, like here. Interesting.
Yeah, because this is continuing sideways with the lace. Yeah. Yep.
But just the way that the ribbing of that lace,
Yep.
it breaks the
Yep.
line.
Yep.
You know,
But yeah, you
makes it look
see
scarce.
the striations so
Yeah.
much on this side, so
Yep.
it's kind of fun. And then I'm knitting another version kind of that same shape as my work in progress that you will see. But that's my finished objects.
Okay.
Yeah, look for more there. I've got, so I don't think my tech editor watches, but I'm sorry, Kathy, if you do. Kind of got a cluster going on with my yoked sweater that I knit last year for Rhinebeck.
no.
Well, it's a biased fabric on a yoke.
Yeah.
And so gauge is really important, and it's really hard to measure gauge when the stitches are going up and down, right? So we've had a little bit of back and forth on that, and some of the testers getting back to me with like, this doesn't seem, so if you have inquired about test knitting that, or if you've provided yarn for something that was going to be in that collection, I'm working on it. It's just kind of a little dead to me right now. So much so that this was like a breath of fresh air to designing, because
Gotcha.
I'm like, This is such a headache. Who decided to knit a yoke that was bi? I did. Because it looks cool.
It does look cool.
But, anyway, I'm working on it. I'm working on it, and again, I'm sorry to anybody that is waiting patiently or not so patiently, or was excited about the concept of that collection. So, it's coming. On that note.
Sorry.
Bless you.
I had to do that before I could talk.
Yes. So your watercolor stripes are gorgeous.
Yes, so I'm just knitting a plain toe-up sock. I've been doing a lot of plain toe-up socks just to have something easy and not complicated. Let's see.
And that's diabolical.
Yes, this one's...
And that's something floral shop? I don't remember.
I'm not sure if this is the Floral Shop Inferno, or I think it's something else.
Oh, you're right, probably right. It's very pretty though.
Yes.
And targy.
It's very lovely.
Why would you do anything else with it other than skews?
Feels very squishy, and yeah. So then I'm also knitting on my Lemonade Shop shawl.
Ooh.
So this is a kit, and the pattern is Sherry's shawl. Sherry's chevron shawl. So Sherry, and then
From Mr.
chevron.
West?
No. This is
Ambach. You're right. You're right.
Brand.
That sounded kind of like a him name though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He names things funny names like that. Sherry Chevron. Beautiful. It's so soft in that middle part.
But yeah. So yeah, this is it's not mohair, it's alpaca.
That's fun.
Yeah. So you have some people who do a mohair kit. This one's an alpaca kit.
I got one.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
You enabled me.
Did, and you didn't get greedy. So I'm having fun with this one. I'm having trouble printing it because I needed to buy new color ink for my printer. But
And the colors are important
well,
in the legending.
the legending, the colors were a very faint pink color.
Got it.
And the very faint pink color was my grid on the thing, so the grid is gone.
Oh, that
and
makes
having a
things
gridless
interesting.
chart is really difficult, apparently. Like, I thought, oh, I'll just print it grayscale, and then they just went away altogether. Like, it could not grayscale that pale of a pink. It just went away.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, that's white.
I have printed some of my patterns at the last minute and found that out and been like, okay, well, we're going to try to get a different color that's got contrast when you print it black and white.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And then I have
color work knits.
my tiger mittens.
I got the
So there's half of my tiger.
Is that nose added on later?
Yeah, you have
Okay.
to duplicate stitch the nose and eye
Which
after
is
you're
kind
done.
of fun because that gives it dimension. Looks like the nose is sticking out.
Yeah. And so I haven't done the thumb yet.
Is the thumb just similar pattern?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the striping side. There's no like little paw or anything on it.
That wouldn't be to scale.
No. And then I'm about a quarter of the way through the second part.
I have mitten envy.
Yeah,
It'd be fun to be knitting some mittens right now.
I am making myself, I mean, it's enjoyable when I do pick it up, but I'm making myself pick it up just because it is a read intensive. It's not one of those, like, every row is different, so every row requires you to look at the chart. So I'm making myself do it.
Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. Like if you don't have to refer to the chart often enough, then you can convince yourself that you know it, and then you get too far off the tracks and you're
That's
like, whoa,
true.
what did I just do?
I did that with the Wonder Wander a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these completely different every time. So I don't even try to be predictive. I just I even have like a little like Post-it sticky that has to move up when I get done.
Yeah, because it can be interesting to try to find yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Where was I?
So yeah, that's in here. But those are for my aunt, who is into tiger rescue. There's a tiger rescue in Minnesota. And she donates to them. And then I thought I'd bring my double work scarf for a quick check, because I have been working on it per my
Your
goals. And so I have got quite a bit done.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to get a cowl. So I'm almost there. But I also want there to be a finished butterfly. So at 190, there's a finished butterfly. 1, 2, 3. And I have 150.
Okay.
So I have 40 or less than 40 rows left until I have another full butterfly. And then at that point, I will weigh my yarn and I will decide if I am done double knitting for the next forever, and I will cast off and sew it together. If I have enough yarn and I think that I can get a decent sized scarf and I want to keep going, I will keep going. But there will be a decision in 40 rows. And
Brace yourself.
Yeah. I am actually predicting that I will be binding off.
Yes.
And have lots of beautiful cashmere leftover yarn.
The exciting conclusion to this double knit project.
Yes. Again, when you see this person in person, oh gosh, can't remember her name right now. Double knit savant wizard. Mm-hmm. She is amazing, and she has all of the stuff sampled. Mm-hmm. Every single pattern kit is sampled. Gorgeous, and it can make you feel hopeful and inspired to do double knitting because of how just prolific she is. Mm-hmm. And then reality hit me pretty hard with that one after the first butterfly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get
you did
through
a
that.
double knit seat cover too recently, right?
Yes, that was supposed to be a blanket.
Okay. Got it.
I got through the first transition of that and went, maybe a seat cover.
Yeah.
And honestly, it is cute, and I wouldn't mind. I just don't think that the recommended wool is the right gauge. I think if I had chosen a bigger wool and it would have been a quicker zinnia,
mm-hmm.
I think was the name of the pattern. I think I would have knit all 4 covers. But once I got through the proof of concept, I was like, nope, I'm done. This is not for me. I will probably just knit something else out of the rest of that yarn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I brought. I could have brought my blankie that I also discovered was ambitious. Full of those ambitious things I'm
mm-hmm.
making myself get through.
Mm-hmm.
But the blanket is actually fun. I have been enjoying that lately.
Yeah.
And actually, once I pick them up, the other projects are good too.
Mm-hmm.
They're just very intensive. They're not for mindless knitting while you're watching TV or something.
Mm-hmm.
They need a lot of concentration. So I'm excited for Nanny Swimo. I have 2 sweaters picked out, and I am going to love to cast those on.
Cool.
So all of this is getting worked on while Nanny Swimo is in the distance. And then as soon as that November 1st day happens, these are dead to me.
Which is Friday next week. Friday of next week.
I know.
Okay.
Then
to me, it's like that.
Yes.
Or that November is already here. Like what?
Yes, this
How
year
did
went
that happen?
super fast for me too.
Yep.
But I will say that I'm excited for it. So
excellent.
I'm knitting away until then, and then these patterns will be hibernating.
Awesome. Speaking of things that I'm excited about, ZK signups happened in between the last time we podcasted and this. Thank you to everybody that made plans to join us. We we will be accepting applications for scholarships to make sure that we are inclusive to all economic levels, and that information will be out there. Make sure that you follow StockinetteZombies Instagram. I'm sure we'll post it there before we'll be able to podcast about it. Mm-hmm. We will also be announcing the mini Splendor vendor that will be in our market. which is, again, super exciting to me. I think
Yep.
we've got a lot of new faces that have applied this year, and we always love our folks that come back year after year, so that's exciting. And similarly, we will be having a sign up for the designer showcase, so that we can get those all nailed down before our KAL starts at the beginning of the year.
Cool.
So yeah, lots of exciting stuff upcoming with ZK, and that I'm super excited about. And then we will talk Rhinebeck and Megan's stories about her prolific trip next, I think.
Yeah, I
Did
think
you have
so.
any purchasing that you wanted to talk
I
about?
did, but they're kind of FOMO purchases, right?
Oh, okay. So I will be the only one talking, is what I'm.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Ufta.